Hello and welcome to another 31 Days of Horror update. Yes, it is day 12 and we're on movie 11, so we are doing a little bit of catch up here. And as any 31 Days of Horror seems to have, we couldn't be complete without a film from The Asylum. Today's video is about the 2005 film Shapeshifter. Yes, look at that. Now, I'm not gonna say it is a good movie. It is from The Asylum, so we know we know what we're getting, right? It is a film directed by Gregory Lemkin, who has essentially done nothing in terms of directing, but he is a very skilled and well-versed special effects person, which is probably the reason why Shapeshifter, as you can see, has above average effects going on. Lots and lots and lots of gore and blood, and like the creature is quite good. I mean, it's not uber good, but it's way above what you would normally see from low budget films and indie films and anything from The Asylum, really. So I have a good feeling that he is a big part behind it. He's also the writer, along with A. Everett Howe, but Mr. Everett Howe hasn't done anything other than this. In terms of the cast, there is quite a large cast, but only two of them are really of any note. Not that you would know them, but we have a female by Jennifer Lee Wiggins, who is essentially, she's an Asylum alumni. Yes, she's an alumnus. She's done quite a few Asylum movies, including I Am Omega, that I Am Legend ripoff, King of the Lost World, and Bone Eater. And the other one is a Thomas Downey, who actually plays the creature, and I'm guessing he does a lot of sort of stunt work and such, and as such he is also a veteran of The Asylum. He was also in King of the Lost World. He's also in this film, Exorcism, Possession of Gail Bowers, Pirates of Treasure Island, Transmorphers, etc., etc., etc. Yes, those are really the only two people of note, and they aren't really of note, if you ask me. But what is Shapeshifter about? That is the big question. Well, essentially, it takes place in a prison where the inmates and the guards all become trapped and are chased around by the Shapeshifter, and they're gobbled up and eaten and munched on. So there's lots of blood and lots of guts, and essentially it's just them running around a prison, figuring out why is this Shapeshifter here, what does it want, why is it killing us, etc., etc., etc. And it's not really big on story. The Asylum films never really are. It's not really big on acting, though. The acting here wasn't too bad. There are only a few moments and a few characters in it that were kind of a little on the cheese side. Where it really tends to falter, and this is a big problem with a lot of films from The Asylum, is in the sound design. The sound is not very good, from everything from the music to the dialogue, the recording in the dialogue, to special effect, audio effects, etc. All of the dubbing. I mean, there's even a section where it's clear that there was footage shot, and the people were overdubbed later on, and they weren't exactly saying the same thing as what was being said in the actual scenes, despite, you know, the editors and the camera angles trying to do a decent job of making it so you don't really see what they're saying. You don't see their lips moving and such like that, or at least, you know, well enough to know what they're actually saying. The other thing that is a big problem with a lot of the Asylum films, and this is, you know, budget and trying to push it out. This is only 121 minutes long, and it's very, very much padded. They tend to, at least most of the Asylum films I've watched, tend to use scenes and stuff that they've shot over and over again through the same movie, and that is definitely the case here in Shapeshifter. Multiple times, using different scenes, and then playing them back later, and then, you know, different editing on them to make it seem like it's new, but it's not really new. So yeah, there's a lot of footage that is reused throughout this film, from beginning to end. Like, I mean, right from the opening to, you know, you get the kills and such, and there's a lot of repetitiveness in that regards. But like I said, we get a pretty awesome looking creature, right? Like that is look at that. That's awesome. Some decent physical visual effects that are quite gruesome. More so than you would normally find in a film of this magnitude. So it, in that sense, I'm almost tempted to give this a slight recommendation. If I had to give it, I give it like a 2.5 out of 5 in terms of marks. But that's knowing what I'm to expect from the Asylum, and this is kind of above what I would normally come to find from them. It's not great, obviously. It's not even really good, but I did find it enjoyable. More so, maybe my expectations were really low. That's always possible. I mean, I knew it was from the Asylum, but yeah, if it weren't for, honestly, the repetitive and reusage of footage and some pretty bad audio work, I think Shapeshifter could have been, I mean, it's not going to be a memorable film, but I think it would have been one of the better films from the Asylum, because it actually manages to work on a level that films from the Asylum never really seem to hit. They're very, very much cheesy, and you have to sort of just leave your brain at the door most of the time. But with Shapeshifter, it's I don't know, yeah, you know what, it was just, I was surprised. I was surprised at what was going. I didn't expect, you know, I figured this might not have even actually been in the movie if it weren't for, you know, the picture on the back. But I thought, okay, well, maybe it's only in a small scene, you know. But no, it's throughout the film. I didn't expect the gore. I didn't expect the gore to be as good as it was. And you know what? Unlike some films where it's, you know, the kill is all off screen and you just see a dead body maybe. No, these kills were in camera for the most parts, which, you know what, when you're doing that and it actually, they pull it off, that is saying something. So, you know what? Kudos to the Asylum and Shapeshifter. I was pleasantly surprised. I'm not necessarily going to recommend it to my horror fans out there, But if you're into horror and you're into that low budget schlock, especially from, you know, like stuff from the Asylum, you know, like those Megasauruses and that kind of stuff, or, you know, 20 billion thousand below, whatever, you know, rip-off movie they've got coming next, I would suggest you check it out, especially if you're a fan of horror, which you should be if you're watching this, because, yeah, like I said, pleasantly surprised, yeah, it's the kind of film where, you know what, I could actually see a sequel coming out of this, from the Asylum, and I don't know. I mean, obviously it'd be a completely different film, but you can use the Shapeshifter mythos from this film and populate a second film easily enough. And I would actually kind of want to see that. And that says something, if you ask me. That says something. But, yeah, I mean, there isn't much more I can say about the film. It's take it as you will, but yeah, if it at all seems, you know, I've caught your fancy at all from what I've said here, yeah, track it down. It's pretty cheap. It is from the Asylum. It doesn't really need a Blu-ray, so getting it on DVD is perfectly acceptable. I don't even know if it has a Blu-ray release, but yeah, video on demand. That's also a perfectly acceptable way to watch Shapeshifter. So, yeah, there you go. There is my thoughts on the film Shapeshifter from the Asylum. Will there be any more films from the Asylum this year? I don't know. We'll just have to wait and find out, but anything is possible. Let me know if you've seen the film. Comment down below. Thanks for watching. Until next video, take care. Have a good one.